Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Rigor Mortis Paranormal. I am David and this is Robert.
Hello.
We are finally getting this project off the ground. It's been a couple of weeks and, we're pretty excited about this, huh?
Oh, definitely. This is something we've been wanting to do for a while because, we have our whole family is just, we have all kinds of paranormal experience, from my mom all the way down to my little brother. And we have a huge family. Huge.
Yeah, there's 9 siblings and plus mom and
dad. Yeah, and each and every one of them have a paranormal story to tell, and that's us included. And that's what brought us to do this show because it's something that I know I love very much, and I know you do too.
Same here. Yeah. We got all kinds of stories. That's just
the thing. It's just and that's actually what we're gonna try and do on this first episode is basically just give y'all our experiences that we've had back from when we were younger and actually
even up till now.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
One other thing we'd also like to do, I guess, in the meantime, because we'd like for you listeners to be part of our podcast.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And if you could, we actually got a hotline. What's that number?
The number is 210-901-8666.
That's right. And so if you got any stories, please share them with us. You can either call us or you can visit us online at rigormortisparanormal.com. Either way, we'd love to hear your stories. And
yes. You can leave them. Leave those stories. You can call them in if you'd like, or you can email us at that address, the rigormortisparanormal.com. And we'll read them off for you if y'all are the shy type. But we'd love to hear from y'all.
Yeah, and actually that email address would be info@rigormortisparanormal.com. But yeah, definitely. Again, like Robert mentioned, we got so many personal experiences.
Oh, yes.
And we'd love to share some of those with you guys here. We're from San Antonio, Texas. That's another thing.
Exactly. That's where we're based out of. A very paranormal rich city.
Definitely, yeah.
We have so much paranormal locations here in San Antonio, and we've been through several. There's the Alamo, Chinese Graveyard, Hot Wheels Hotel.
Oh yeah, yep. Remember that?
There was a really good one, the Southwest Lunatic Asylum. That one was crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You have the Donkey Lady Bridge. You have plenty of hotels here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of hotels.
And the Big Daddy would be, I guess, besides the Alamo, the train tracks.
Oh, train tracks, yeah. Well, about the train tracks.
Yeah, that's there's been several paranormal shows. What is it? Ghost Adventures is one.
Fact or Faked was another set of people that went out there to go check that out.
And that's one of my favorites. I always love the train track stories. But they came out and they debunked it as saying the road is actually going downhill, and it's weird because when you get there and you're inside the car, it looks like you're going uphill. It's just one of those things.
It really does, yeah. I've actually pretty much laid on the ground and looked at it, and it really looks like you're going up.
It does,
and you're not.
They came and they put the level on the street, and it's weird because the bubble did look like it was pointing down, and that was not the only. That was several times that they did that. But it's still a great story, and in my heart, I still like to think that it's true.
Yeah, I hear you because we grew up with that as kids,
Well, actually, in Alton, Texas, there was an incident that happened there involving a school bus.
Really? See?
This happened back in 1989. There was a soda truck, a Dr. Soda truck.
I wonder who that would be.
Well, it actually is kind of sad because it hit that one did actually hit a school bus full of kids. There were 81 children in that school bus, and it wound up knocking them into a caliche pit full of water.
Wow.
Yeah, and 21 children actually did perish in that accident. The locals say is they can still hear, on some days they can hear the accident actually happened, the collision of metal twisting, and they can hear screams as they're going down into the pit, and actually they hear the splash. And it's weird because
that is crazy.
That is crazy.
I've never heard this story.
It was something that happened. It came out in the world news. It came out everywhere. It was it is actually the worst school bus or bus accident in Texas. But it's kind of sad because you have 21 lives that were taken that day, and they were all children. And from tragic events such as that, I think that's where a lot of paranormal events happen. To me, I mean, like, and then what makes me think is like some of the houses that we stayed in, especially the one on the south side.
On the south side,
Yes.
yeah. I remember that house. Trust me.
And it makes you wonder what happened in that house that made it. Some of the things that we saw in there, and that's actually one of the stories that we want to tell you today because it's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. I do remember that house vividly, and again, this is part of the reason why we're even doing this because
What were we, 6 or 4 years old, something?
Yeah, probably even younger. Honestly, I mean, I remember even one time. I don't remember if I told you this story, but there was a time where I remember being a little kid. And I don't know if this is paranormal or not. Maybe I just had some bad issues with my health. But I do remember flopping around like a fish one time because I couldn't breathe.
Too. Yeah, you were trying.
I couldn't breathe. For some reason, my breath just gave out, and I remember laying on the ground and just flopping around. And,
I remember those episodes.
Do you remember?
You were trying to take your shirt off, and you told me you needed a can opener. Do you remember that?
That was something else. Yeah, that was actually because I had a fever of 106. I almost died that day.
Funny, but
yeah, I should have died that day. but
just put a Band-Aid on. It'll be fine.
That's a different story. That actually had to do with. I guess we couldn't really afford to go to the hospital back in those days.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. You were just like, hopefully we didn't break something or get shot because that was homemade remedies. Oh, just put
put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, he'll be fine. We'll just put a splint on that. It'd be all right.
Yeah, but that house was.
It was
crazy.
Something else. Yeah, I remember that house.
I think we all had experiences there.
That was again.
Should we mention the street, or I don't know if we can mention the street or not? But
it was the south side of San Antonio. Let's just go that for right now.
I guess we can leave it at that.
And again, these aren't just we're just saying our experiences that happened to us. This is what this episode is basically about. But we'll go from there where whatever happens. We'd love to hear from everybody.
Yeah, definitely worldwide. I mean, not just here in San Antonio, but again, we're just trying to build up some of our audience. So. Again, you can call us at 210-901-8666, or you can email us at info@rigormortisparanormal.com.
Oh, definitely. We'd love to hear y'all's stories from anywhere, everywhere. We'll put them on definitely and we'd love to hear from everybody out there. If you got something good, put it up there, please. We're gonna eventually have a Facebook page here soon, but we'd love to hear from y'all.
Yeah, definitely. Back to this house on the south side.
House.
I think we'd like to start our whole episode with this story here. Probably.
It was just, mind you, back then, and I think this was kind of made us a stronger families because we were flat busted, and there was a ton of us. Like they said, there was 9 in our family, brothers and sisters, and then that's including with my mom and dad. That made it 11. Actually, that was 10. Nathan didn't come along till later.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's
but
right.
We went through so much. We had no electricity for the longest time. I mean, we lived almost like bats, going off of solar.
It was really bad back then. I do remember some of those days.
But we always seemed to make the best of it. We would have we had no choice to have cookouts in the backyard, but
not by choice.
No. So if we didn't have electricity, obviously we didn't have a lawnmower. Our grass was very long, and I remember my older brothers were playing football. And mind you, I'm a year older than David.
Yeah, we're almost the same age.
Yeah, we have older brothers also, but back then they were playing football. I know we've discussed this one before, and it was in the backyard. I was laying down and I was looking at the clouds, and I was sitting in some long grass. I mean, the grass is always long. Yeah. And I remember Mike and Steve were playing football back there.
Those are 2 older brothers.
Yeah, there are 2 older brothers, and I remember one of them running, and the grass was so long they didn't see me. They kicked the hell out of my side. Man, it hurt like hell. Man, but they fell, and as they went back inside, everybody went inside. I remember I didn't realize I was by myself outside. And I remember hearing somebody call my name, but it was almost like a loud whisper and like a woman's voice. It was more of a Robert, like that. And I remember like sitting up real quick and looking around, and there was no, and this is during the day. So I hear them say it again, Robert. And I remember darting, hauling ass, just little fat ass running back.
Was it like a man's voice or a woman's voice?
It was a woman's voice. It was a woman's voice.
I think I remember that, actually.
And what was weird is Mom was holding the door open, and she told me she heard it also. And what's weird is because, like, you gotta understand, there was nobody out there. There was nobody that was out there. We had the garage, the mysterious fire that happened in the garage. We still don't know what happened. Anything could happen then, but it was just such a weird house. I mean, just weird stuff happened.
Yeah.
I know we want to blame it on the church next door because this church was...
that was a weird place,
yeah,
so that was really weird.
Well, I didn't want to bring it up because it was a church, but it just... It had no sign, first of all.
Yeah,
and had no windows, and it looked like one of these little churches that you would see kind of way back in the day, almost like a little house on the prairie, but it was just all white, and it just looked like an old church.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
and but remember we would sneak around there, we would hear all kinds of crazy stuff coming out of that church. But I think, and it's just weird because we would hear stuff like that, but I know we've all had, David, you had that incident that happened with you.
Yeah, there was some really crazy stuff, and again, that's the thing though. We always blamed it on the church, because
all the time,
we didn't know what else to do. We didn't know what to think about it.
It's not we're church bashers. Me and David are very religious.
Right.
We believe in, but it's just the church. It was weird, and we're talking about what year was this, Dave? Maybe 71, 72?
Yeah, you're right. So we were little kids, 4 or 5 years old, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. I do remember that incident. That's there was one time where I walked into my parents' room. I don't know what I was doing. I was probably playing with some cars or something. I really don't remember. I mean, I was so young, but I do remember the story because boy, it scared the heck out of me. Anyway, I do remember walking in there, and for some reason I was looking at this mirror that was sitting on top of the chest of drawers, and it's just a freestanding one. It's sitting up there, and this thing actually, I'm looking at it, and it jumps up and jumps forward, and it lands right in front of me. And I'm not talking, it didn't just fall down. I mean, it went off it jumped upwards, and then went forward and then landed down.
I remember,
so, it was really crazy. This whole house was just, it was something else.
We had, I remember you telling us about that, and it's weird. I don't know if you remember, and it does sound cliche. Like, I know most of these stories sound kind of cliche, but it's weird. We're talking, like, again, 71, 72, and we were little kids. It's kind of hard to make, this stuff up because I remember when you came out of that, I don't know if you remember this, but you were telling us that before. You told us about the jumping part, but you had told me it was bending. And like
you're right.
The mirror was bending. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know, and they sound like made up stories, but
yes.
What's crazy is that these really happened to us. And funny you mentioned the cliche part because it's weird because we had several stories and they all sound like stuff that comes out of books or something that you saw in a movie. But
Mom and Dad, same thing.
Same thing.
Mom and Dad.
Ghosts going through a wall and sheets being pulled off of them when they were asleep, stuff like that. I mean, this is all real stuff, and this all happened in the same house. I mean, this house is crazy.
We revert back to it may have been something from the house, and the thing is that one didn't seem like it was. To me, I don't think that one was very friendly. I imagine. I don't know what exactly would have.
I don't know. I mean, it never hurt us or nothing, but it
scared the heck out of us.
It scared the hell out of me for sure too. I think all of us. So, and it's weird because if anything, Mom has more stories to tell than we do.
She does. Yes, she sure does.
Just some crazy stuff.
And I think everybody, as growing up, their mom always has a really good tale to tell. I don't care who you are. And mind you, my mom is in her 70s now, but back then she would tell us. And I think that was just either to keep us entertained or to scare us not to do shit that we were... Because we were brats too, man.
We weren't the most kindest of kids, I guess you can say.
But there's this more almost... It's weird because, like, we have stories of, in our heritage, what is it, like the lechuzas and... Of things of that nature. And I remember...
La Llorona?
Yeah. But I remember Mom telling us a story where she lived in this house with her mom, my grandmother. And she was telling me she was just a little girl also when this happened. And mind you, my mom has a ton of stories, and they're all pretty good. But, like, this one, was kind of weird because she was telling us she had a bad witch living next to her. Do you remember this one?
Yeah. Well, actually, you told me about this one a few days ago. It scared the hell out of me, actually, even now.
Because it's weird. How do you make that shit up?
Yeah, really.
Okay, but what happened was my uncle had just come back from Vietnam, and what was going on there was they lived next to this lady who was, I guess, she was a witch, and she was my mom called her a bad witch. I guess she was just a plain up, straight up bitch, I guess. But what she would do is, my mom said she would, I guess, screw around with my grandmother. My grandmother was very religious also, my mom and grandmother. And my grandmother would get scared very well. So I said an early case of bullying, I guess I did say.
Yeah, right.
And my grandmother was deathly afraid of the lady witch next door.
I do remember. Yeah, there was a witch next door.
And it's weird, and that's I gotta get back into that. But I remember who moved in after that. It was such a sweet lady. Her name was Mrs. Meadows, and she was the sweetest lady in the world.
Yeah, they were really nice people.
And it's weird, right? Because I guess but before that, they had this witch. What she did was she would do things to scare my grandmother. And my mom told me this situation one time that happened where, and here it comes, man. Here comes another cliche, I guess. But it's what's called a lechuza. I never believed in those things myself, but when my mom was telling me, it's sort of like a barn owl, but they say it has a witch's face. But they said this bird was flying around their house, and it kept flying. And back then, the lechuzas, they flew. What I mean by they flew is that story right there. If you had a lechuza going by your house, something bad was gonna happen. And so my grandma, so you don't want no lechuzas. It's kind of
if somebody tells you that, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's kind of like I guess it's equivalent to a drive-by now.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
But what it was is that it was bad luck or something's pending doom was about to happen to your family, and so my grandmother, she right away starts giving the Our Fathers and the Hail Marys. And praying for it to leave them alone. My uncle, however, he came out and he started cursing at it. I don't know, did you ever hear that? Like, where they're supposed to curse to shoo it away?
Yeah, actually, I have heard that.
And that's
how you get rid of them.
Yeah, grandma was like tripping out, like, "Ay, mijo, no, por favor." And she was like, and what was happening was our Uncle Tommy, and like I said, I wish I knew him a little better. I never met him, and I'm coming to that. What it was is that he cursed this bird away, and it finally went away. And then he went and started shouting obscenities to the lady next door. Well, not too long after that, and I don't know, maybe you think, you can tell me. I think maybe it had tie-ins, but maybe it could have been just his time to go. He got into a bad accident, and he died from the accident not too long after that. And
so you think maybe it was because of the lechuza, maybe, or?
That's hard to say because because he was kind of fearless by going out, and back then that was unheard of.
Yeah,
true. Cursing at it, and I guess he just had enough from the lady next door. But what happened with that lady is just the weird shit, though. I mean, like my mom, she tells me, well, that what happened with that witch is one day she came knocking at the door, and she looked terrible, like she was sick, and that she was in pain, and that she was pleading for grandma to help her. And while they were doing this, my mom just says she starts all of a sudden throwing up hair, like hair from your head.
Who does?
The witch.
The witch.
The witch just started throwing up hair, right in front of them, like, and not just like it looked like. Like,
oh, that's
like,
gross.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but who makes that shit up? She was saying, like, she started throwing up hair in front of him, and eventually she passed on. But they said that lady actually pissed off a stronger witch, and that's what Mom was saying. So that's weird. I don't know. I love stories like that,
crazy.
Especially when they. But that I love stuff like, and that's what me and Dave are looking for.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, man, we'd love to hear from you guys. 210-210-901-8666. Of course, we had to have that 666 at the end of our number, but
definitely
that was by chance, I guess. But anyhow, I mean, these are just some of our stories, and we've got so many stories we can tell. But we'd love to hear yours.
Definitely, yes.
Doesn't matter where you're from. We're from San Antonio. We've told you a few of the tales from around here. And then, of course, a few of our personal tales, but
we definitely want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of great stories out there. Even even if they're cliche, again, it's just I don't know what it is with ghosts. I mean, is it that they just run out of things to do, or what? But because you hear a lot of the same stuff. Yeah, I know you hear a lot of the same stuff over and over. But I mean, there's got to be, it doesn't matter. I mean, if they're true, they're true. And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, definitely. And personal stories of and actually, these are. I know we have the paranormal, but we eventually want to get into other stories also of the unknown, of UFOs. Man, who knows,
UFOs. Oh, I love that too. I mean, just things, mysterious stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Things that we just don't know about. Right. And yeah, they can just be weird stories. I mean, you get in a bus and I don't know, you get lost, you fall asleep, and you wake up, and it's 5 days later or whatever. Just whatever. I mean, exactly, it doesn't matter. We're not looking for just paranormal things.
And just places, if maybe you got stories of places in your hometown or just wherever just experience y'all been through. I was telling David of schools. I used to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tell him a little about that. That's cool
I did work at a haunted school. And I heard all kinds of crazy stuff, man. And mind you, janitors have the best paranormal school stories. Yeah. I used to hear, there was a school I worked at, and this was back in 05, 06, and I would hear things in this elementary school. The story was that the school it was named after was a lady teacher, and that school was built in, I believe, either 39 or 38, something like that, 1938, 39. And the school eventually was named after her. I remember when I got hired, there was some strange, weird stuff. Of course, it's the same things. You would hear things moving or banging in that school all the time. But I remember having several experiences, and they were always, for some reason, Dave, man, when I was by myself. I don't know what the thing is about that. So that kind of makes it another one, like, oh, this dude's full of shit.
Cliche.
But no,
cliche. You're always by yourself.
It really did, because I was cleaning in the older part of the building, and it was weird because, like, I gotta say this, in 06 actually in 04 they put two new additions in that school, and they did some remodeling to it. Well, in the old addition, I remember I was by myself and I was cleaning that first floor, and I was by myself, and they told me, hey, look, you're gonna be by yourself today. So when I finished cleaning, it was time to go, and I believe it was almost 11 o'clock at night. So I had to set the alarm and leave, So my truck during lunch, I parked it towards the front of the school. I set the alarm, and I'm walking out through the front entrance, and I'm trying to get to my truck. And all of a sudden, I hear like 3 bangs on the window, like somebody's trying to get your attention, like, hey, don't forget the milk. But like,
wow.
Yeah, but it's dark, and I had just cleaned that whole school. I knew there was no one back in there. So I got kind of worried. And I started thinking, man, I heard that, but I'm afraid to turn around because the place is pitch black except for the front light on the porch, And I was like, if I turn around, I'm going to see something I don't want to see. So I sat in my truck without looking because I was scared.
I don't blame me. I don't think I'd want to look either.
No, but I really heard it. It was like 3 loud bangs on the windows. Okay. So I sat there for a minute, and I said, I got to go back in. Because what if there was a kid, and this happens, man, maybe there was a little kid who fell asleep, but come on, man, you don't think somebody's going to come looking for him at 11?
Really, yeah.
So I said, I gotta know, I gotta check. So I undo it, and I remember having goosebumps on my arm, and I went to that. It was, as soon as you walked in the front door, so it was the first door to the right. And I went in, and I turned the light on, and this was older, like I said, mind you, they had the old coats up in the back of the room, and it's like a little closet, a walk-in one.
I think I remember those.
Yeah, well, I turned it on. I turned on the light first of all. There was no one there, so I said, man, don't make me go to that closet room. So sure enough, I had to go back there. There was no one in there. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and set the alarm. If they get a trip, then let me know. You know what? I'm gonna let the police deal with that.
Yeah, no kidding. Time to call the cops.
But that, it's weird because in that same place, I was on another floor on the new wing, and what it was is I was using this machine that it shines the floors to the hallways. So as I was walking, I was looking, because you have to look down when it's almost like cutting the grass. You have to overlap, and you're going through the
right.
hallways and. So I'm looking down, but my peripheral vision, I'm looking up. kind of, but I didn't notice, and I could have swore I saw somebody standing there, just, you know, and I was like, wait a minute, there's not supposed to be no one up there.
And what time is this again?
This has got to be about 9 o'clock at night.
Wow. Yeah.
So I look up.
You were the only one there at the time? Or?
That time, actually, no, there was another worker there, but they weren't nowhere. Of course, I was by myself in that wing. Building. So as I look up, it's weird because, and it's kind of hard to explain. I don't know how to explain this. I caught the walking part of them. I didn't catch the full body, but I caught their leg. Like they were going into the hallway, and it's weird because I was at another part of the hallway where they're going in almost like a room, but they're going into another section of the school, which is hallway.
Wow.
And what I saw right there it's weird because I saw nurses, almost like a nurse's shoe, and like stockings, and like a tweed skirt that went past the knee. And I mean, this is all old school.
It's giving me
old.
Chills already.
Yeah, just old.
It's crazy.
But it's weird because I stopped. And I picked the machine up because if you don't pick it up, you're going to burn the floor. So I'm standing there, and I said, man, I know what I saw. I just saw that. So what I did was I shut the machine off, and I ran up there, and I had just got done completing that section of the building, which was the 4th floor. It's in the old building. Right. It used to be the 2nd, but now it's the 4th. Anyway, it's a long story how that happened. So I run up there, and the lights are off. And there's another section of stairs that go down. I said, man, I have to check if there's someone in here. Either they're stealing or maybe, you know, graffiti or something. So I run I checked the whole school. I mean, Dave, I checked that whole school. Everything was locked. Everything was like, and the person that was there, they were on the 1st floor. They were actually in the library doing some. They were just watching TV actually. So they looked at me and they're like, what are you doing? I said, do you see anybody come out? And they're like, and I didn't want to freak them out. And they're like, no, what's going on? I was like, no, there's nothing, you know. And they were brand new. So they were brand new people. I was like, oh, no, there's nothing. I just thought I saw it. I was like, I went back up. But I know what I saw that day. And the thing is because they've had other incidents there at that school. And it's weird, man, because like that's just one of them. I thought I'd tell that one because I like that one.
No, that's great. I think that's great, man. That's awesome. Again, you know, we love telling some of our personal stories.
Oh yeah,
and we've got plenty to tell, and it's kind of crazy because.
But we don't want to fill them up with our stuff because we know our stuff. We'd rather hear from y'all. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But we can.
yeah, we can. We actually have enough for quite a few episodes. We do have enough tales, but you know, this is kind of what got us all into this stuff. You know, some of these stories that are just kind of far-fetched, but they're real. I mean, they did happen to us, and you know, we this is part of what we want to talk about in our podcast is we want to talk about real things that happened. And again, even if they sound cliche, you know, please do give us a call.
Yes.
210-901-8666. If you want to email us too,
we'll read them off. Yeah, we'll read them off.
We'll read them for you. I mean, we're good about that. You know, and the email address would be info@rigormortisparanormal.com. Or if you just want to visit our website and check out some things that are on there, it's really new again, but we're gonna try and put some stuff on there.
Yeah, hopefully a Facebook page.
Soon, Facebook too. Again, you know, we want to get that up and running. We'd love to hear from you guys.
It's just some. Just to get y'all story out there that y'all need to tell or want to tell.
Just make sure they're real.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you know, even if they sound cliche, as long as they're real, I mean, we'd love to hear them. We'd put them on our podcast,
and we will get them up. That's just one thing that we always enjoyed because instead of people, I don't know. To me, I think it's one of those things where we really enjoy things of the paranormal. I guess because we just. You know, really, and
we grew up around it, you know, whether we wanted to or not.
And this is just us telling our stories. We have brothers and sisters. Again, our father had a couple too. But we'd love to hear, you know, old ones, new ones. That's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, definitely. Give us a call, 210-901-8666. Thank you for listening. We'd welcome you back. We're coming back at you with our next episode. But in the meantime, please give us a call or visit us online at rigormortisparanormal.com.
Exactly. We'll see you then. Y'all take care.
Bye-bye. See y'all.